This is Job 15:35. They conceive mischief and bring forth vanity, and their belly prepareth deceit. Call halal Yahweh Bashem Nawashai by Hashem Wakar. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations unto all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners. And to the Akwath that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And as you can see, the videos that are on the screen, all right, and there really is, and they try to sell this, all in funny games. I saw a commercial for this, and with the happy music playing, and get yours, get your mask, and then they were showing an old man mask and this, that, and the other. But there's evidences, as you can see on the screen, there's evidences that these things have been used for crimes. All right, there was this third one right here. That was even it looked like a man's. It so much that it even had the man's own mother believing that her son had committed this crime, and when they showed up to our house, she was giving up her son. Her son was in shock because, of course, he had committed no crime. So what's going on? We've been telling you this, and the one at the top is 3 years old, and then they just get older and older as you go down. But the truth is always ignored and buried. They don't. This won't be repeated or played over and over again in mainstream media because they don't want people thinking like this. But I'm gonna play a video where this Jake, in a tirade and this rant goes in on how this is still happening, and this is what how many people are getting shot down in Chicago, and it works because the street life, the street guys really do believe that their ops did this, and then they go like he's gonna tell you, they go slide on the ops, go slide on the Stones, go slide on the Kings, go slide on the BDs, and they really didn't do it. These white guys in these prosthetic masks actually are responsible. And we keep telling you that I've been saying this for years, that this is going on, especially with all these unsolved murders caught on camera, So this is real. This is very real. Let me read another one. It says, his mouth was full of cursing and deceit and fraud, and under his tongue is mischief and vanity. Because they'll come on the news, or get on these podcasts and talk about gangbanging and gun control and all these other things when they're really the ones perpetrating the problems and the issues. But let's without any further ado, we're gonna go to my my one of my favorite new tools, which is TikTok, and where's that video? And let this brother go in. All right. Yeah, it's only about maybe a minute or so long, so let's let him speak. All right, let me just pull it up.
These motherfuckers really be riding around killing us, bro. Mercenaries, nigga. You think every killing in Chicago is us? Nigga, the police be riding around my city killing us, nigga. And I'm saying this shit, nigga, with tears in my eyes. With tears in my eyes, nigga. Like real life shit. They be riding around with hoodies, nigga. Acting like they gangs, killing us, nigga. Why you think there's so many unsolved murders? Nigga, we ain't cold like that. We do some shit, we get caught. We get caught, man. Come on, man. Y'all ain't gonna wake up and see this shit. I'm telling y'all real factual, real life tears in my eyes, man. If you are not from Chicago, or if you live in Chicago, stop thinking every fucking gunshot going off came from your motherfucking ops, man. It's called mercenary groups, nigga. Google it, nigga. The police, nigga, hop in their cars, nigga, hoodie up, paint their faces, nigga, and ride around and shoot us, nigga. And then you be like, oh, the Stones just came through here blowing, so I'm finna go slide. So you go back on the Stones shit and you blowing at them, nigga. That's how they do us, bro. That's on my son, man. That's on my son, Joe. Chicago, downtown Chicago is packed with police, nigga. So who the fuck killed a big ass
and cameras
on Oak Street and 4 shooters, nigga? And they got away with it, nigga. And y'all still want to believe the streets did that? The government did that, nigga. Nigga, who did that shit and got away, nigga? It's cameras all over downtown Chicago, nigga. Ain't nobody in Chicago from the streets that motherfucking crucial, nigga. Nigga when they got their ass caught before they even got the Lakeshore Drive, nigga. Nigga when they got the Lakeshore Drive, woo, 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 woo. Ask any street nigga. Any street nigga gonna tell you, nigga, it ain't that sweet in Chicago. Chicago is packed. These motherfuckers really be riding around killing us, bro.
There it is.
Mercenaries, nigga.
So, and one of the reasons why such mischief is being prescribed is simply because they're trying to stop their own destruction. Let me go back into this TikTok thing, man. TikTok, I'm starting to really love TikTok because of the level of information that's on there, And I like the way the algorithm works because you don't get as much, and there's a ton of folly on it. But if you don't look at it, it doesn't really pop up in your algorithm. All right, only the things that you typically watch pop up. All right, so here we go.
For people who subscribe to racism and so-called white supremacy, at their core, what they are advocating for is the continuation of whiteness and the prevention of genetic annihilation. All roads lead back to this preservation, whether it's education, religion, politics. So don't let Congressman Mary Miller lie. She knew what she was talking about. And Dr. Frances Cress Welsing has known this all along as well.
And that racism is ultimately a total system for white genetic survival.
That's right.
And to prevent white genetic annihilation on a planet that has the genetics and the demographics that exist on third planet from the sun, which is planet Earth. So I was the first to put it in those terms, and my thesis has not been refuted.
All right, so a lot of things that are happening, Ray versus Roe, or Roe versus Wade, that is what it's really about, and that's come out. And I was calling it before these videos came up. All right, here we go.
So between 2010 and 2020, the U.S.'s white population declined for the first time ever, according to the 2020 census.
Now, it's the first time that they wrote it, but it's been declining basically since the opioid situation started. So you got to remember, they lost 40 million young white adults over a 20-plus year period to opioids. So that contributed. They already had weak sperm and didn't produce as well as Jacob did. All right, as well as so-called Negroes and Latinos. All right, they already weren't producing like that anyway. So and then that along with the policy of teaching their young adults, their women and their men to be career minded, to be anti-children, because you look down upon when you have children in this society. When the Lord said, "Be fruitful and multiply." All right. And it's okay for a woman to have a lot of children as long as they're with the same man. But, you look down upon when you have children in this society. And that's because the way this society has been brought up and it's bred weak people and is doing everything in reverse the way that God intended it to do. That's why all these societies fail. All right.
Now the Supreme Court has overturned the right to abortion. These are connected because of a centuries-old fear in America called race suicide. The beliefs behind race suicide are founded in scientific racism. The beliefs behind white
which is all false pseudoscience. 1 Timothy 6:20. All right, which I'll read that after he finished speaking.
Supremacy are also founded in scientific racism. Race suicide was an alarmist term used in eugenics. It was used to describe the falling birth rate of white Christian American women. In 1902, President Theodore Roosevelt wrote a letter claiming that this issue is fundamentally, infinitely more important than any other question in this country. So what issue did he think was so concerning? Race suicide, the fear that white American Christian women aren't having enough babies.
And that simply comes down to the fact when the scripture says, and one was stronger than the other. See, even in Egypt, in the first Egypt, now that we're in the second Egypt, we were the Hebrew women were producing children faster than the Egyptian women. And it's the same thing in Egypt now. Because truth be said, it turns out that, we've been told that black women were killing the majority of the babies with Planned Parenthood, and it turns out it was really white people. They made up 60%, college-age white girls. All right, you know, that hot girl summer. You remember all those videos from the 90s, Girls Gone Wild? Those were majority white women, you know, having group sex and gang bangs and all kind of promiscuous sex with you know, tons of different guys. 4 years of college, and and multiple double-digit guys every year of college. Not to count the ones that were all done at once. And so guess what? There was a lot of pregnancies and a lot of aborted babies as a result of that. You know, this hookup culture.
That eventually non-white, non-American, and non-Christian people will eventually outnumber white Christian Americans. Theodore Roosevelt even called white women that seek abortion race.
So this is how you know that Christianity is all a joke, because if you're a Christian, why worried about what color you are? What's important to them is white Christians, all right? Which is a made-up religion anyway. The Bible doesn't subscribe to Christianity. That was something made up by Edomites, these pale people who refer to themselves as white.
Here's a cartoon of President Roosevelt holding a bunch of white babies, and it says, "You should take Teddy's advice." This is a postcard warning about race suicide and has a stork delivering 2 black babies. This is the falling birth rate in the U.S. from 1800 to 2020. About here is where Teddy Roosevelt would have been.
And see, that catches them up in their lie, because they was talking about how there's more people now. But how is it more people, white babies being born in the 1800s than now, but there's less people? You see, if you really pay attention to these Edomites, they always lie and get caught in their lies. Okay? That is what they do. They always lie and get caught in their lies. Let's play another one. All right, let's play this one.
Can all of these events be correlated? Watch to the end.
President Trump, on behalf of all the MAGA patriots in America, I want to thank you for the historic victory for life in the Supreme Court yesterday.
Wow.
If you don't understand the destruction of Planned Parenthood offices, and you don't understand the wall that we're going to build on the southern border of the United States, you haven't read the book The Birth Dearth by Ben Wattenberg. Ben Wattenberg was a brilliant Jewish man who was a member of the American Enterprise Institute, and he wrote a book, the first paragraph of which says, "The main problem confronting the United States today is there aren't enough white babies being born in this country." He was an advisor to presidents of the United States. He wrote the book in 1987. He says if we don't change this and change it rapidly, white people will lose their numerical majority in this country, and this will no longer be a white man's land. Now, I'm not misrepresenting this. I'm telling you almost exactly what he says. He says there are 3 things we can do to solve this. Number 1, we can pay women to have babies, as they have been doing in Western European nations for years. Then he says, and these are his words, not mine, unfortunately, we would have to pay women of all colors to have babies, so we don't want to do that. He says the second thing we could do is increase the number of legal immigrants that are allowed into this country every year. Then once again he says, unfortunately, the vast majority of those wanting to come to this country today are people of color, so we don't want to do that. The third thing he says, and white women had better pay attention to this, 60% of the fetuses that are aborted every year are white. If we could keep that 60% alive, that would solve our birth dearth. Does that sound like racism to you?
Can all of these events be...
All right, so yeah, so they're really that's mischief by law if I've ever seen it. This is Psalms 94:20, and it reads, "Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law?" So all these things that they're doing to self-preserve the so-called white race, that which is a label and a title that they put upon themselves. And see, and they're being exposed and they're being made small. Like it says in Obadiah, let me run to Obadiah real quick. It says, thou are greatly despised. You're being made small, something to that effect. Here we go, Obadiah 1 and 2, and it reads, "Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised." Man, the Lord is cold, man. These scriptures are coming to life, man. And the so-called white man is the smallest race of people, the smallest group of people on the earth. That's why in America they have these, you have foreigners that come in and have brown skin but are labeled as white people. I mean, it just is what it is. All right. And let me go back. Got one more video I want to play with this. One of my students actually sent this to me yesterday. And when I saw it and listened to it, I was like, wow, this is heavy. What's this one? Yeah, I'm going to have to watch that again. But here we go. It's called The Camels Are on the Horizon. So listen closely. All right. And this is coming from Ishmaelite, a sheikh, a rich sheikh. All right.
The camels are on the horizon. I don't know if you guys have seen this commentary floating around, but I'm going to read it to you because I think it is significant. The founder of Dubai, Sheikh Rashid, was asked in an interview about the future of his country, and he replied, "My grandfather rode a camel. My father rode a camel. I ride a Mercedes. My son will ride a Land Rover. My grandson will ride a Land Rover. But my great-grandson will have to ride a camel again."
That's right. And you know why? Because the Israelites will be ruling and they won't have it like they have it anymore. Because their gates will be open continually. Because he is going into captivity along with all the other heathen. All right? Including this lovely young lady that's speaking. She also is going into captivity.
His response was, "Hard times create strong men. Strong men create easy times. Easy times create weak men."
And I said it all the time that I don't belong in this age. I belong in the age where men walked around with swords hanging from their sides and spears in their hands. All right? When women bare children and didn't have a voice in matters that concerned the kingdom. That's the time that I belong in. All right? This time here, no.
Weak men create difficult times. Many will not understand it, but we need to create warriors, not parasites. Add to that the historical reality that all great empires, the Persians, the Trojans, the Greeks, the Romans, the Egyptians, and later the British, all rose and perished within 240 years. We're not conquered by external enemies. They were rotten and destroyed from within. America has reached that 240-year mark, and it is starting to become visible and accelerating. We are past the Mercedes and Land Rover years. The camels are now on the horizon. The greatest generation.
And that was very powerful. You know, we're past the Mercedes and Land Rovers years. The camels are on the horizon because that's what's coming. All right, they're not going to have the technology. We're going to have the heavenly technology, you know, of the chariots of Israel. We're going to be able to zoom around all over the earth, almost within an instant, Stargate type shit, but for real. All right, we're going to be able to go from planet to planet. What they're going to do is build up our kingdom for free. That is where we're headed. And basically, what she described was the prophecy in Daniel, that Daniel described for King Nebuchadnezzar. He saw the rise and fall of all the major kingdoms, and outside of the Roman Empire. But you got to remember, the Roman Empire was ruled by two different races. Jake ruled it toward the end of it. All right, but we're at the end of that little season, which is why Esau Edom is acting the way that they're acting, because they know they have but a little time. All right, let me get that and get ready to wrap this up. This is Revelation. It's 12 and 12 or 12 and 10. Yeah, 12 and 12. Actually, I could read, I'm going to read 10 through 12, point in 12, but I'm going to start at 10. And it says, Revelation 12 and 10, "And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our power, and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night." They put on the media, as you're looking on the screen continually, it never stopped. The white man in the brown prosthetic mask, which once he puts on the gloves and covers up his hands, he actually looks like a so-called Negro. and he'll walk through society, and no one will know that he is a so-called white man. If he commits a crime, he'll hide and get away with it if he doesn't get caught, like the guy below him. He just happened to get caught. Because when you look at the other picture, there you go. People go, oh, it was a black guy in glasses with a hat on. When the whole time it was this pale guy, this red guy, right? And you can clearly see that he's red. He's not white. All right. I love this high definition stuff. It really, when it says in the first came out red all over, there's no hiding from that. And called his name Esau. All right, which means wasted away because they have no pigmentation. All right, but anyway, Revelation 12:11. And they overcame him with the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives to death. When I say we're risking our lives and our freedom to do so, we're overcoming them with the words of the testimony of Yahweh Shai. All right, and we already got the victory through his blood, even if we die, even if we become martyrs. All right, we believe in the promise that we'll be the first to be raised up. And then there's also even a better promise that some of us will not see death, but we shall be changed in an instant. And we'll get those immortal superhuman bodies, Verse 12 in the main point. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. And that's what he's doing. All right, he's coming down with great wrath, and some of that wrath is through his wicked policy, through his mischief that he prescribes by law. All right, so with that, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Wakakudash, Wa Abba Babal, Kwam Yasharala. Shalom.